wild, there is no healthcare. In the wild, healthcare is, ow, I hurt my leg. I can't run. A lion eats me, and I'm dead. Well, I'm not dead. I'm the lion. You're dead.
Hi, Grandpa.
What do you mean, Grandpa?
What's up, guys?
Hey, guys.
Hey,
What's
how
up,
are you?
Nick?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, what's going on?
So you guys are ready for this?
Training, more training videos. Been here for 22 years, more videos. So you guys excited to watch these?
Not really. No.
Kind of. What do you mean?
I just remembered, I gotta get some popcorn.
Sure, he's always hungry.
Put extra butter, please. But yeah, so.
Alright, let's go.
Well, guys, relax. Enjoy these videos and enjoy training.
No, you're not going to believe how he pronounced Ellen DeGeneres today. Wait, are you filming? Okay, so Kebab Connection is a hilarious rom-com that pokes fun at the cultural differences in Hamburg, Germany by portraying the love story of a young Turkish aspiring director, Ibo, and his German girlfriend Tizi, who he accidentally impregnates. The film begins with a close-up of two men sword fighting in a doner shop over the very last doner. By the end of this sequence, the audience realizes that this is a commercial Ibo has shot for his uncle's Turkish restaurant, King of Kebab. The movie flashes to the Greek restaurant across the street, where the audience is introduced to the rivalry between the Turkish and Greek restaurants, and the tension between Turkish and Greek immigrants in Hamburg in general. The different stereotypes of Turkish immigrants are highlighted when the Greek restaurant owner complains that these pot-bellied, fat-nosed, mustached barbarians show up and now all they want is the cheap crap white-breaded bags with dog meat, while referring to the Turkish people and their derna. Throughout Kebab Connection, animosity towards the Turkish food as being poor quality and cheap is reflected by a recurring sequence where Ibo's uncle yells at his cooks for being wasteful and using ingredients that are too high of quality. The film also highlights Greek cultural staples by having the characters tell each other to trink eine ouzo when they are stressed out about business not doing well. The owner of the Greek restaurant is frustrated by the fact that his son doesn't like meat. He says he thought he raised a real Greek. The theme of holding on to traditions from generation to generation is also explored through Ibo's struggle to keep his family's acceptance while dating a German girl and pursuing his dreams of being a film director. Ibo is kicked out by his father for getting a German girl pregnant. He says he will never speak German with the baby. When Patrizia tells her mother that she is carrying Ibo's child, her mother asks her if she has ever seen a Turkish man with a baby carriage before. Ironically, while the protagonists, Ibo and Tizi, are fighting for their own family's acceptance for breaking cultural norms by raising a child together, the Germans seem to be more than accepting of the cultural food that the immigrants have introduced. Throughout the film, Ibo's inability to commit to being a... What are you guys doing? Throughout the film, Ibo's inability to commit to being a father is what shakes his relationship with Tizi far more than their ethnic differences do. In a Romeo and Juliet forbidden love kind of affair, Ibo's parents eventually realize that his love for Tizi surpasses their cultural differences, and the two of them get married in the King of Kebab restaurant, celebrating that true love surpasses cultural differences, especially amongst younger generations who do not feel the limitations of their heritage that their parents do. The theme of success and opportunity for immigrants in Germany is explored through Ibo's uncle's unwavering ambition to take over Hamburg with his popular Turkish restaurant, and Ibo's perseverance towards being a director and creating the first German kung fu movie. The restaurant rivalry between King of Kebab and the Greek Taverna reflects not only the resentment between both Greeks and Turkish immigrants, but the struggles that immigrants faced while trying to build a name for themselves in Germany. This was achieved in a lighthearted and comedic way in this movie through food. Diverse food from other cultures, notably Turkish and Greek, are very prominent in German cities and have led to Döner and Uza becoming cultural staples in Germany as well. Overall, this movie was a very entertaining interpretation of cultural rivalries that shed light onto what life as an immigrant living in Hamburg with ambitious dreams would be like. It reminded me of the displacement that each Germans felt after the fall of the wall, when they tried to assimilate into a Western market economy while still keeping their ties to the socialist state alive.
The Wall by Julian Polzer encapsulates the feelings of isolation, survival, sorrow, and change. The film focuses around a woman who travels to an isolated hunting lodge in the Austrian Alps to find herself inexplicably cut from the outside world by a relentless, invisible wall. Upon exploration, she discovers villagers located just outside the wall, completely frozen in time. Trying to cope with the reality of her situation and the confusion that she faces, she has to adapt and learn to survive against the unforgiving wrath of Mother Nature. Through the help of her dog Lynx and various animals she befriends, she is able to force herself to survive against the waves of depression and sorrow she faces every day, wondering why it was her trapped here all alone. On a cold, windy night, she finds a small white kitten struggling to survive in a dense green forest. She takes this kitten in and begins to develop a truly personal connection, understanding that this kitten is a reflection of herself, a creature placed in the wrong place at the wrong time, not meant to be here but forced to survive. She struggles both mentally and physically with the task ahead and takes no pride in the work she must perform. She must hunt and kill regardless of how adept at the task she becomes, she feels disgusted about every kill, greatly upset at the fact that she's a human and that she must taint this peaceful world. She keeps track of her experiences every day and attempts to follow a calendar to keep her mentally sane. On a cold, stormy, windy day, just like how she found the kitten before, the white kitten is killed and the storm moves on, seemingly accomplishing its goal. Nature is unforgiving and doesn't care about the human attitudes or motives. It works in its own way, sparing nothing. Unexpectedly and with no explanation, an old, crazy man shows up and is seen killing her dog and a bull. Without hesitation and without giving any thought to the man, she shoots him, killing him on the spot. Not once does she think about the man or who he was, nor does he seem to care about finding another human being anymore. She's completely losing her identity as a human and is becoming more integrated with the nature around her. As her animals begin to die, so too does her will to keep pushing forward. With the loss of so much that's close to her that kept her going, she truly starts to feel alone. With this, she must finally integrate completely into the new life that has been handed to her, ending her civilized method of tracking her life, succumbing to the nature around her.
Hey, new kid.
Yeah?
Go get us coffee.
All right, right on it, sir.
Three by Tom Tykwer revolves around a middle-aged couple that falls in love with the same man? What? Alfred!
Yeah, what do you want?
Who wrote this crap?
You wrote this trash. You're not Hemingway.
Oh, really? Well, in that case, 3 is a masterful film that submerges the viewer into the life of an ordinary couple that secretly falls in love with a talented, passionate young man. The film focuses on love, life, and death, all set in the culturally vibrant Berlin. It's provocative, challenging viewers to strip their ingrained ideas of sexuality and love. It precisely fits into the atmosphere of our office, where we experience the unexpected. It strikes at the core of our feelings by exploring deep-felt desires and often publicly unspoken ideas. For example, Hannah and Simone, the couple that has been together for numerous years, display the complacent, steady love with little passion. A monotonous lifestyle that is interrupted by the new, unexplored passion that both Hannah and Simone feel towards Adam. A modern Renaissance man, good-looking, athletic, free-spirited, and yet still lonely. This idea of experiencing loneliness in the presence of others is very interesting. I hope our boss sees this and decides to do a workshop on this topic. The idea of love in the movie relates to previous educational videos and workshops we have seen in the office. For example, that summer house later guy who was similarly very open-minded and free-spirited when it comes to love. The educational video comments on the idea of love in the modern German society, especially in Berlin, a very culturally developed city. This educational video, 3, makes a comment on our acceptance of gender roles and stereotypes. We have Simone, the husband, who is quite passive and actually artistic and is almost and almost embodies a stereotypical image of a female. We have Hannah, the wife, who is strong and opinionated, filling the role of a stereotypical man. And finally, Adam, who is both artistic and opinionated, strong and passive, at the same time defying all the same stereotypes and is seen by both. The educational video is capable of provoking new ideas and exploring yet a new aspect of German society seen through a lens of sexuality, love, and stereotypes.
Oh, we're filming. The Counterfeiter. The film opens with Sally, that is short for Salomon, who is gambling in a Monte Carlo casino. The film then fades back to the late 30s in Germany, where Sally is more fully introduced as he does shady deals. At the party, he meets a woman who persuades him to forge an Argentinian passport for her, as she clearly intends to escape Nazi Germany. He takes her back to his house, where he produces the fake passport, and then they end up having sex. The next morning, the police breaks into Sally's apartment and arrests him. The senior policeman Herzog exults in arresting the king of forgers. The film now moves on 5 years, during which time Sally has moved from prison to a concentration camp. He and a number of other inmates have been selected and are being transported from Mauthausen to Sennhausen. When they arrive, they are introduced to Herzog, the police inspector who arrested Sally 5 years ago. He explains that they have been selected because of their skills in various aspects of forgery, and they are now to join Project Bernhard, aiming to ruin the economy of Britain by producing and circulating fake banknotes. The new prisoners are given new attires that were taken from another inmate, but one of them, Adolf Burger, refused to wear them. They are introduced to the large team already working on the project, including the couple, a prisoner who acts as a guard, and a Jewish German banker. Herzog makes Sally leader of the team and orders them to concentrate on quickly producing perfect forgeries and pound notes. The film follows the development of the perfect forgeries, with Herzog frequently switching from being a nice to bullying the prisoners, while the rest of the German guards are universally brutal. There are more glimpses of life in the rest of the camp, but the forgers are kept in a relative luxury because of their artistic skills. Finally, Herzog is satisfied with the pound forgeries and introduces a fake badge to the Swiss Bank and the Bank of England, both of which produce them genuine. Herzog then says that the dollar has become their priority, and by now it's becoming clear that the war is near its end and the Nazi wants results quickly. Kolya has developed TB, but there are no drugs to treat it. Kolya is this little kid that Sally has been protecting. Meanwhile, Burger has become more vocal in his opposition to this collaboration and says that he will sabotage it. As time passes, they get no nearer to success with the dollar because of Burger's actions, and arguments range between Sally and Burger over the moral implications. Finally, Herzog gives the group an ultimatum. He says, if you guys don't complete what I ask for, I'm going to kill 5 of you. Sally then does a deal with Herzog that he will complete the work in exchange for drugs to treat his friend Kolya. Herzog gives Sally the drugs, but Sally's friend is shot because he's being found infected. No sooner has the final dollar forgery been produced than the team are suddenly told to pack everything, the machinery, so that it can be moved to safety in advance of the approaching Allied troops. This has only been completed when one morning they awake to find that all the German guards have left. Herzog is seen recovering his hidden stash of forged notes. Sally confronts him and takes his gun. Herzog is at Sally's mercy, however Sally doesn't kill him and allows him to go. The next morning, the wall of their compound is knocked down and the forgers find themselves faced by a threatening mob of the prisoners from the rest of the camp. The final scene returns to Monte Carlo Casino, where Sally wildly and purposely gambles away his huge pile. Finally, he's sitting on the beach. He's joined by a sexy, beautiful woman from the casino who is really sad because he has lost all his money. And he starts dancing with her, and he tells her that he says we can soon make some more money. The film The Counterfeiters is based largely on Adolf Burger memoirs. Burger was a Jewish Slovak typographer, memoir writer, and a Holocaust survivor involved in Operation Bernhard.
Oh, I didn't see you there. Well, I guess I'm up now. I've been working here for 22 years. I'm the veteran, as they say, and I still have to go through training. That's just wrong. But here we go, I guess. So, back in the day, around 1996, I watched a documentary called Animal Love. This was one of the most provocative films I've ever seen. Now, for one, I really love animals. I like chicken, I like beef, I like shrimp, I love puppies. But this film went a little too far. Now, what is the movie really about, you say? There's quite a lot. The premise of the film is surrounded by the loneliness and despair of Austrian people. The lives of these individuals are filmed over time. We have many individuals, including 2 homeless men, 2 older men with a violent dog, swingers, and I'm not talking about the playground, a failed relationship, and a sexy lady who cries over love letters. The film begins with 2 homeless men who live in an abandoned dump. Now, when I mean dump, this place is trash. They have many dogs, and they don't have any means of income. So they're homeless, and they can't work. Crap. One of the men buys a rabbit from the pet store and uses the animal to beg for money in the train station. This man especially is quite lonely and longs for women, but is unsuccessful with his ventures. He continues to hawk for money as a means for survival. Next, this movie progresses to the 2 older gentlemen, and this is the 2 older gentlemen I'm talking about with a violent dog. They're really trying to attempt to train their dog. They're reading different manuals and stuff. The dog is quite energetic, but it's really rough. So throughout the movie, they struggle to train the dog, and the pet ends up attacking another dog. The woman, the owner of the other dog that gets attacked, is afraid that their dog is going to die. Wow, that's crazy. The film segues to the swingers. Swingers, I'm telling you, swingers. The couples tend to have the most social interactions between all people in the entire 2-hour film. They live on the edge by engaging in various sexual adventures and encounters. They do have a dog, but they spend more time with other people, obviously, than the pet itself. Moving on, we have 2 other relationships to discuss. The first relationship is between an older man and a younger woman. Yes. This woman is taking care of a ferret whose leg is broken instead of spending time with him. They constantly argue throughout this behind the film. The next couple we have in this movie, Animal Love, is we have a married couple who is seen to have recently separated. They are united by a cute pug. They both express maternal roles toward the dog, but they don't like each other any longer. Now, last but not least, the film shows a woman who is quite sexy, but is yearning for men. She reads many of the love letters she receives through the mail and cries. I mean, what type of life is that? Love letters and crying? Who knows? She has a husky that she's very intimate with, if you know what I mean, but still is looking for relationships. What's going on, rookie?
Nothing much. Feeling good. Feel really good after today.
Really? So you enjoy training? I mean, like I said, I've been doing training for a long time. So watching a lot of videos, a lot of films. So yeah, how was your film?
Oh, it was great. I saw The Wall, and it was fantastic. I thought it was a phenomenal movie. It was very emotional, very raw cut. It was just straight to the point. And a lot of the film it made you feel sad. It made you depressed. You didn't know what was going on, and there was a lot of unanswered things at the end. And I just really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that's really similar. For my training film, I watched Animal Love. I mean, the film was actually kind of sad. I mean, what we really found out is a lot of people can be lonely. I mean, as human beings, we're really social people. Mm-hmm. And I feel what the director was showing that is when you don't have, social contact with people, people turn to all sorts of means. So in my movie, people turn to their pets and animals looking for love. They were really lonely and they were isolated. They were basically showing that if one could be isolated, they can try to find happiness in other things. So, it's quite crazy, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. My movie also had a lot of isolation and a lot of sadness and a lot of animal connections. This woman, she was alone, and her only friends became her animals. And once she lost Ash, she truly felt alone. She didn't really know what to do with that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
Hey, what's up, guys?
hey, what's
How's
going
everything
on?
going?
How are
You
you
guys
doing?
are chatting?
Yeah.
Are you enjoying training?
Oh, absolutely.
That is awesome. What did you guys watch?
So I watched Animal Love. He watched The Wall. What'd you watch?
Oh, perfect. I actually watched 3. Quite an interesting movie. It's sort of talking about love in Germany, in Berlin specifically. You have this couple that falls in love with another guy, and it's quite interesting, but I feel like I overheard you guys talking about loneliness, and that's one of the themes that's also in my movie. The guy even though he's surrounded by people, he constantly has relationships with other co-workers and strangers even. But then he still feels lonely after the end, and at the end the movie kind of evolves to the point where this loneliness is separated between the 3 of them. It's quite interesting. I do really enjoy it, and I feel like it really connects to The Life of Others. Was another movie that we saw a while back. I don't even remember, because the character there also felt quite lonely, and that's sort of a theme that's being reoccurring, and I feel like that would be something interesting to explore more of.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, actually, even thinking about.
Hi guys, how are you?
Oh, great.
Hey!
How's it going?
It's fine. What are we talking about?
Yeah, we're talking about the films you watched and other films. So yeah, let's talk about your film, and I'll talk about something that I found interesting you said. So what film did you watch at training?
Okay, so my film was, the name of the film is The Counterfeiters. It's about this guy who is really skilled, very artistic, and he kind of flirts money, pounds, and it's really interesting film. But at the end, the film is not about him, but about his friends. It's really interesting. I don't see how can I connect it to other themes that we already talked about. But I was listening to you, and you were talking about loneliness, and I felt like my film connects more how he felt inside, how he felt lonely, and in this movie he learned how to connect with other people.
Okay, yeah, that is very interesting. Alfred, you said you wanted to talk about something more.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, you talked about The Life of Others. Well, fantastic movie, by the way. Just thinking about other themes. So, like I said, with the animals and the people, they were isolated from society. They weren't really talking with people. So, I mean, looking at The Life of Others, Wiesel, that was the name, I think, right?
Yeah.
The guy was, he was lonely. He was longing for love. I mean, he was working for the Stasi, right? And he was, he was surveilling, right? He was, working hard, and he realized, hey, I'm longing for love. I've been lonely, and he was really, he found the relationship between the two main characters really intimate. So, from my film and my standpoint, then, I think the message here is really, strive for, connection between two people.
Yeah, no, it seems like a lot of our movies sort of find that similar theme with like love and loneliness. And it seems like, Betsy, you talked about yours, and it seems to be falling into that groove. And Patrick, you also spoke about your film, and it seems like that is sort of a common theme that we can explore between our, I guess this is a big takeaway that we might take.
And yeah, but Patrick, do you have any other similarities between your films?
I don't know if you guys ever, this is actually a reading. I don't know if you guys ever read this, but it's called The 33 Moments of Happiness.
I remember something vaguely, but yeah.
Like, I read it a while ago, but it got me thinking because connecting back to my movie The Wall, it had the same exact set, like it had the same feel. They went into the woods. It's a really dark situation, and while the interactions were slightly different, the ultimate takeaway was that they came back, and it was the way the moment was, where everything kind of like time almost felt like it was at standstill.
Yeah.
Like, there was the clock moment at the very end where like the clock didn't actually move, the alarm was still set, and time didn't feel like it was moving in The Wall for this movie.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, well, guys, I'm getting old, so, I got to run to the John, but great chat. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, man. I'll see you all later.
Hey, Ali, what are you doing?
Oh, hey Betsy, what's up?
What are you doing? Did you finish your film?
Oh yeah, I'm just on break. I just finished the movie yesterday, actually. It was really good.
What was about it?
It was Kebab Connection, and it was about family for the most part, because one, it's like a Turkish family and a German family, and they're both living in Hamburg, and the Turkish family opened a Turkish restaurant.
Oh,
And
interesting.
Ibo is like working for the Turkish restaurant as a director who's making commercials trying to promote the restaurant, and he has a girlfriend who's German, and his family, he gets her pregnant, and his family doesn't want him to have the baby with her because they say you will never be able to speak Turkish with the baby, your relatives won't be able to speak with the baby, and the German family is like, don't have a baby with a Turkish guy. Have you ever seen a Turkish man holding a baby carriage? So it's about like the struggle between wanting to hold on to your family traditions and also trying to accumulate yourself into modern German society in Hamburg. What was your movie about?
My movie was about a guy. His name is Sally. He's the best, a counterfeiter guy. He forged banknotes, and he's really artistic and really nice. I was talking to Ivan about my movie that it had a protection team. What about your movie? Did you have?
My movie definitely had protection so much because both families, when Titi tells her mom, I'm pregnant with Ibo's child, the mom is like, have you ever seen a Turkish man with a baby carriage? He won't make a good father. And both of them have big dreams of becoming the first, Ibo wants to become the first director in Germany to ever make a kung fu film, and Titi wants to become a famous actress. So they both have really big dreams, and their parents are protecting them from not throwing away their future by having a baby so young, and instead waiting and trying to develop their career. So definitely protection is a huge theme, but it's more tied along with family in my movie because the families are just protecting them, but kind of too much and not letting them assimilate into society. So it kind of brings up the question of how much protection is too much protection in a family, and how much should you really adhere to your cultural traditions, and how much should you just assimilate into society.
Yeah, my movie have a little bit of protection. You have to pay attention in order to see it, because at the end you can tell that, oh no, that was no, he didn't protect, Sally didn't protect Kolya, this little kid. He's Russian, but he's in the concentration camp with them, and he kind of develops this relationship with him, father-son relationship, and he's protecting him. But at the end, Kolya gets killed because he got infected with TB, and he couldn't protect him.
It's so interesting that your movie has elements of racism and anti-Semitism and Nazis in it, because my movie kind of shows racism on a lesser scale in Hamburg with just stereotypes in more of a lighthearted comedic way, because they're just making fun of each other the whole movie. There's a rivalry between the Greek restaurant across the street and the Turkish restaurant, and they fight back and forth, and they say things like, oh, the Turkish people with their mustache, those barbarians, move across the street with their cheap bags of dog meat, referring to the Döner that they're selling in the Döner restaurant. And it's just so stereotypical, stereotyping the Germans and the Greeks and the Turkish people the whole movie, and they're like elements of racism the whole movie, and they kind of surpassed like Titsi and her boyfriend Ebo surpass all of the racism because they love each other so much, and it's like their struggle against the racism that they're facing. But it's definitely to a lesser scale than in your movie, I think.
Yeah, usually, actually, when you start watching my movie, you think, okay, this is another concentration camp movie, but actually, it is not. It is different. You actually can see there is an officer. His name is Herzog, and he start acting like bad towards the prisoners. He start treating them really bad, but then he's like switching like back and forth, being nice to bullying the prisoners, because he knows that if he treats them well, they're going to do the job that he wants them to do. And yeah.
Mine
But
was kind
about-
of like that too. Like, Ebo is working for his uncle, trying to promote the Derna shop by making like big movies that are appealing to all the Germans. Like, are coming to the movie theaters and they're watching the commercials for the restaurant, and they love them. Like, they're really excited about the Derna, and they're really receptive to Turkish culture because of the food. Except the actual Turkish like people kind of feel displaced. I'm getting the sense like displacement was a big theme that I saw because they like weren't fitting in amongst the other immigrant groups. Like, it was more immigrants displacing each other than it was Germans displacing them. They were actually really fond of the Turkish people and Derna in the movie, but the Greek people had a lot of resentment against them, and the Germans had resentment against them. They always were constantly saying things like, this Turkish guy would not make a good father, like throughout the whole movie. So displacement was, it seems like, prominent in both of our movies.
Yeah, it seems like it. So what about the end? Did it have a happy ending, or?
Yeah, in the end, Titsi and Ebo decide that they love each other so much, and they're gonna have the baby, regardless of their family's like expectations and of their and of disappointing their family. And they have their wedding like over the top in the Derna shop.
So they have like
in the
Greek
Derna
food and like
Yeah.
a mixture of both.
Yeah, in the Derna restaurant, and they just like invite everybody, and it like regardless of their culture, regardless of like their ethnicity, and it's like really just like a celebration of how love surpasses like racism and how immigrants can fall in love regardless of where they come from. And it's also kind of celebrates accumulating into modern German society, like as an immigrant, like assimilating, and how love kind of conquers all in that respect. But it's a comedy, so it's really lighthearted, and I knew it would have a happy ending.
Yeah, my movie had a happy ending too, but towards the end, one of the guys commit suicide because he was so sad that everything was over and he couldn't meet, like at the end he couldn't be with his family.
So that's a sad ending.
But everybody at the end was happy and they were like free at the end, so it had a happy ending.
Oh, okay. So mine was like that too, in a way.
Okay, so I gotta go. Nice talking to you.
Yeah, I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Betsy! I can't believe you did this to me! I can't trust anyone in this office! I quit! Come.
In the wild.
Cultural rival.
In the wild.
I think it's not moving.
Really bad. The senior policeman Herzog Salomon, sorry. And wing. I said like a chicken wing.
Hello. Peanut butter and jelly. Honestly, it's great.
We're watching movies or training videos.
time to training. We gotta watch our videos. So yeah, you guys ready for training?
Yeah, it's nice. Our professor,
My professor.